Welcome once again to our few minutes together on the Parsha. This Shabbos we have the privilege of reading Parshas Nuso, which has the distinction of being the largest Sedra in terms of psukim in the Torah. There are 176 psukim in the entire Parsha of Nuso. It's interesting to note that the Talmud's largest Masechta is Bava Basra, which also has 176 blot of Gemara, and the largest kapitel in Tehillim, which is Tehillim Kuf Yud Tes, also has 176 psukim. The name of the Sedra is Nuso, and Nuso means to lift up or to bear. When someone's carrying something on themselves, they're carrying a masa, or a burden. And the word Nuso means to lift up or to have the burden upon you. When it says lift up the heads of the family of Gershon, the family of Kahas, the family of Merari, when it says lift up their heads, it means count them and appoint them, because the responsibility that they are given is what they bear as their burden, and as one lifts up the burden, they in turn become lifted up. When it comes to the bringing of the Karbanos of the Nesiim, right before the bringing of the Karbanos, the Sedra tells us that there were wagons that were brought by the Nesiim, the lifted up ones, the princes, and that these Nesiim brought a total of 6 wagons. 2 of the wagons were given to the Bnei Gershon. They carried the curtains of the Mishkan. And when they traveled, the curtains were put on the wagons, and they carried the curtains. When it came to the other 4 wagons, 4 of them were given to Merari. The remaining 4 were given to the family of Merari. They carried the boards, the physical objects that made up the Mishkan, and they were heavy, so they were put in the wagons and carried that way. The pasuk in Perek Zayin, pasuk Tes, says, "V'livnei Kahas lo nasan," but to the children of Kahas, they were not given any wagons. Ki avodas hakodesh alehem, because the holy service was upon them. Bakosef yisa'u, they carried it on their shoulders. They carried the Aron, and they carried the Aron on their shoulders. There were staves in the Aron that the Bnei Kahas lifted up, put it on their shoulders. The Gemara in Sota on Lamed Hey makes a very interesting observation. When it says Bakosef Yisa'u, that they carried it on their shoulders, it says Nosei ha'aron nose'av. The Aron carried the ones who carried it. That means they would pick up this heavy Aron, which was made out of boxes of gold and had the luchos in it, and had the kaporis on top with the cheruvim. They would pick it up, they would put it on their shoulders, and no sooner did they pick it up and put it on their shoulders, and it was a burden, immediately Nasa ha'aron es nosa'av, that the Aron lifted them up, and they carried nothing, but rather were carried by the Aron. Perhaps what the Torah is teaching us in this very interesting medrash is something that those who devote themselves to the study and observance of the Torah and its commandments find after they commit themselves to the performance of the mitzvahs. And that is that it seems at first, what a tremendous burden. There's so many mitzvahs, there's so much to do. It seems like so difficult. And yet, you know what happens? You put it on your shoulders. You accept the burden. And Aron nosei es nosa'av. Rather than you carrying it, it carries you. Observance of Shabbos, to many might seem a burden. Oh no, it's the greatest gift. It lifts us up. Everything we do lifts us up. And in this week, right before Shavuos, when it comes to the acceptance of the Torah, all we've got to do is come to shul, accept the Torah, be mekabel the Torah through the laning, through the study of it, and an amazing thing happens. We are lifted up by the commandments, by our commitment to the study of Torah. Have a wonderful Shabbos.